The early beginning of extension. Chinese officials began creating agricultural policies, documenting knowledge and disseminating advice to farmers at least 2,000 years ago. However, the exact location and timing of these early extension activities remain shrouded in mystery. Fast forward to Mesopotamia, modern-day Iraq, around 800 BC. Archaeologists unearthed clay tablets offering advice on crop watering and rat control, providing us with glimpses of early agricultural extension efforts. Meanwhile, in the ancient Roman Empire from the 2nd to the 4th century BC, Latin texts were penned primarily focusing on practical farming. These texts served to assist Roman landowners in enhancing their estates and revenues, marking another milestone in the history of agricultural extension. The 19th century brought significant development in agricultural extension. In 1847, amidst the Great Famine, Lord Clarendon's itinerant instructors initiated extension activities in Dublin, Ireland. These efforts aimed to alleviate the agricultural crisis gripping the nation. Across the continent in Germany, the 1850s witnessed the expansion of extension through the introduction of itinerant agricultural teachers, also known as Wanderlehrer. This education The early 20th century saw the formalization of extension system. In 1914, the cooperative extension system was authorized by the Smith-Lever Act in the United States. This statement in Britain, the concept of advisory service gradually replaced the traditional extension model, reflecting evolving approaches to agricultural education and outreach. Steering in 19th century England. In the midst of 19th century challenges, events in Ireland catalyzed the creation of what would become the contemporary extension service. Between 1845 and 1851, a devastating famine ravaged Ireland, compounded by a fungal disease that decimated the potato crop, a staple food for many Irish farmers. Responding to the crisis, the British government dispatched practical instructors to assist small farmers in rural areas. These instructors offered guidance on cultivating alternative crops, aiming to mitigate the impact of the famine and support agricultural resilience. Success of this initiative caught the attention of German government officials, inspiring them to establish their own system of traveling instructors. This exchange of ideas and practices laid the groundwork for extension services in other European countries, including Denmark, the Netherlands, Italy, and France by the end of the 19th century. Meanwhile, in Great Britain, the universities of Cambridge and Oxford played a pivotal role in expanding educational outreach beyond their campuses. In 1867, they coined the term university extension to describe the initiative aimed at extending educational opportunities to communities beyond the confines of traditional academia. However, these early efforts primarily focused on subjects unrelated to agriculture. The foundation for the cooperative movement as we know it today traces back to 1844, with the establishment of the Rochdale Society of Equitable Pioneers. This pioneering group developed the Rochdale Principles, emphasizing democratic control and equitable distribution of benefits, laying the groundwork for cooperative enterprises around the world. The birth of modern agricultural extension. The roots of modern agricultural extension stretch back to the educational initiatives of the late 19th century, beginning with endeavors at prestigious institutions like Cambridge and Oxford in England. In 1867, Cambridge and Oxford embarked on a journey to extend educational opportunities beyond their campuses, laying the groundwork for what would become known as university extension. Initially, these efforts focused on addressing the educational needs for burgeoning urban population, with lectures covering literary and social topics. However, as the 19th century progressed, the scope of university extension widened. Across the Atlantic, in the United States, the early 20th century witnessed a pivotal moment in the evolution of agricultural extension, building upon the foundation laid by the Hatch Act of 1887, which established agricultural experiment station at land-grant University, and the Smith-Lever Act of 1914, which created a cooperative extension system. The U.S. began applying the term extension service specifically to agricultural demonstration and lectures for farmers. The cooperative extension system born out of the Smith-Lever Act aimed to inform the public about advancement in agriculture, home economics, and related fields, fostering a culture of knowledge sharing and collaboration between researchers and farmers. This model of educational outreach, originating in England and transplanted to the United States, laid the foundation for a robust extension system that continued to play a crucial role in agricultural development and rural livelihoods to these days. As the 20th century dawned, the seeds of modern agricultural extension had been sown. As the 20th century dawned, the seeds of modern agricultural extension had been sown, promising a future of innovation, cooperation, and progress in farming communities around the world. Initiation of agricultural extension in the Philippines. The history of agricultural extension in the Philippines traces back to the Spanish colonial era, marked by the establishment of granja modelos or model farms. These farmers serve as trials plot for the government, doubling as demonstration center for local farmers. Dating back to 1565, the Granja Modelos were pivotal in introducing modern agricultural techniques and practices to the Philippine countryside. This government experimental station played a crucial role in disseminating knowledge and showcasing innovative farming methods to enhance agricultural productivity. Fast forward to June 23, 1898, a significant milestone unfolded with the establishment of the Department of Agriculture and Manufacturing by President Emilio Aguinaldo of the Philippine Revolutionary Government. This marked a formal recognition of the importance of agriculture in the nation's development agenda. Jose Alejandrino was appointed as the department's first secretary, tasked with spearheading efforts to promote agricultural development and uplift rural communities across the archipelago. With the formation of the Department of Agriculture and Manufacturing, a new chapter began in the history of agricultural extension in the Philippines. The government's commitment to supporting farmers and advancing agricultural practices would lay the groundwork for future initiatives aimed at boosting food security and rural prosperity. Sunset on the Spanish era and the dawn of Philippine independence beckoned. The seeds of agricultural extension were planted, nurturing a legacy of innovation and progress in the nation's farming communities. The American Era. October 8, 1901, marked the beginning of a significant period in American history characterized by social change and movement for workers' rights and women's suffrage. As the United States emerged as major player in the world stage, imperialism expanded to terrorists like the Philippines. In April 30, 1902, Adriano Hernandez became the first Filipino to head the Bureau of Agriculture, signifying a shift in agricultural leadership. By July 1910, the United States experienced relative prosperity and optimism. This period saw the creation of the Demonstration and Extension Division within the Bureau of Agriculture, which implemented research programs to enhance agricultural practices. However, the years leading up to 1916 were marked by debates over foreign policies and domestic issues such as civil and labor rights. Nevertheless, on July 10, 1919, the demonstration of Extension Division was officially formed, solidifying its role in agricultural development. The 1920s brought significant economic growth and cultural shifts known as the Roaring Twenties, but the reorganization of the Bureau of Animal Industry in 1929 coincided with the onset of the Great Depression, ushering in widespread unemployment and economic hardship. In 1932, the Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources underwent reforms, becoming the Department of Agriculture and Commerce under Act No. 4007. These reforms aimed to stabilize the economy and provide relief to the American people during the depth of the Depression. 1936, signs of gradual recovery emerged, supported by public initiatives and the enactment of Commonwealth Act 649, which allocated a budget for extension work, revitalizing agricultural development efforts. However, the outbreak of World War II in 1942 shifted the nation's focus once again, leading to economic mobilization and eventual involvement in the global conflict, reshaping priorities and strategies in agricultural extension and beyond. Through periods of turmoil and transformation, the American era witnessed the resilience and adaptability of agricultural extension efforts, reflecting the ever changing landscape of society and economy. As the nation navigated through challenges and opportunities, the seed of innovation and progress continued to be sown, shaping the future of agriculture and rural livelihoods.
The impact of Japanese occupation on agricultural extension. From 1942 to 1945, the Philippines endured the harsh realities of Japanese occupation, a period marked by widespread disruption and hardship. Amidst the chaos of war, essential services, including home economics and agricultural extension work in the province, were brought a standstill. The occupation paralyzed outreach efforts aimed to supporting rural communities and promoting agricultural development.
The evolution of agricultural extension in the Philippines. In the years following Philippines' independence, the landscape of agricultural extension underwent significant transformation, reflecting the nation's journey towards self-governance and development. In 1947, the Home Extension Unit of the Plant Utilization Division of the Bureau of Plant Industry was merged with the Agricultural Extension of the Bureau, signaling a consolidation of resources and efforts in agricultural outreach. Subsequent changes saw the Department of Agriculture renamed as the Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources under Executive Number 94 in 1947, reflecting a broader mandate encompassing the nation's natural wealth. The Bell Mission's arrival in 1949 recommended the consolidation of scattered extension organizations across different bureaus, leading to the creation of the Bureau of Agricultural Extension or the BAEX through Republic Act 680 in April 24, 1952. The administration of Magsaysay, Garcia, and Macapagal witnessed shifts in the role of structure of agricultural extension, reflecting changes, priorities, and strategies in rural development. Under President Decree Number 461 in May 1974, the Department of Agriculture and Natural Resources was split into two separate departments, the Department of Agriculture and the Department of Natural Resources, reflecting a more focused approach resource management and agricultural development. The establishment of the National Food and Agriculture Council in 1969 and the ministry-wide regional offices in the Ministry of Agriculture through PD 1578 in 1972 aimed to streamline coordination and enhance efficiency in agricultural governance. 1982 Executive Order 803 designated governors as the political unit management for inducing agricultural development, emphasizing local coordination and supervision of agricultural services delivery in the provinces. Through these reforms and initiatives, the Philippines sought to strengthen its agricultural sector, empower rural communities, and ensure food security and sustainability for future generations. As the nation navigated through periods of change and adaptation, the spirit of agricultural extension remained resilient, driving progress and prosperity in the countryside. The Aquino administration of the late 1980s brought about significant changes in the organizational structure of agricultural extension. With the Reorganization Law of 1986, the extension function was transferred from Department of Agriculture to the Department of Local Government, reflecting a shift towards decentralized governance. The transition to a parliamentary system in 1978 led to the renaming of departments as ministries, resulting in the Ministry of Agriculture and Food. However, in 1987, Executive Order No. 116 reverted the office's name back to the Department of Agriculture, maintaining continuity amidst institutional reorganization. In 1987, the agricultural extension services of the DA underwent a significant shift as they were devolved to the local government units through Republic Act 7160, known as the Local Government Code of 1991. This decentralization aimed to empower local communities and enhance the relevance and effectiveness of extension services. Under the Ramos administration, extension services evolved from technology transfer to participatory extension through the Gintong Ani program, emphasizing collaboration and community engagement in agricultural development efforts. 1997 marks a milestone with the enactment of Republic Act 8435, also known as the Agriculture and Fisheries Modernization Act of 1991, laying the groundwork for comprehensive reforms aimed at modernizing and enhancing the competitiveness of the agricultural sector. Dr. William D. Dar made history during his tenure as the head of the International Crop Research Institute for the Semi-Arid Tropics in India from 2000 to 2014, becoming the only Filipino to lead a global agricultural research institute contributing to advancement in agricultural science and technology. In May 2014, Executive Order No. 165 initiated anti-corruption reforms in the agricultural sector, leading to the removal of four agencies: the Fertilizer and Pesticide Authority, the National Food Authority, the National Irrigation Administration, and the Philippine Coconut Authority from DA control. These agencies were placed under the oversight of the Presidential Assistant for Food Security and Agricultural Modernization, aiming to enhance transparency and accountability in governance. Through periods of change and reform, Philippine agricultural extension has evolved to meet the needs and challenges of a dynamic agricultural landscape, reflecting a commitment to progress and development in the countryside. As the nation look forward towards as the nation looks towards the future, the spirit of innovation and collaboration continues to drive agricultural extension efforts, paving the way for a more sustainable and prosperous agricultural sector.